too, since once you make the playoffs, records are out the window and it's win or go home. I mean, Shannon, does he have a point here?
Yes, the point is that it doesn't matter what your record is as long as you win the division, you get a home playoff game. But there have been more 14-2 teams that advanced to the Super Bowl than 7-9 teams. So you would have to feel good if you're 14-2 and you make the playoffs as opposed to 7-9. So many things and basically, I think he was reading off what they would have to do in order to get to the Super Bowl. But he's right. At the end of the day, Skip, it's about winning in the division and having a home playoff game, and we'll see what happens. But I don't know if they feel as good about themselves as, say, Green Bay feels about themselves, or New Orleans feel about themselves, or the Saints, or some of these other teams that's been playing particularly well all year long feels about themselves. But he's right in theory. It doesn't matter what your record is. If you win the division, you get a home playoff game. You can win 5 games. But if you got 5 victories and everybody else in your division has 4 victories, you win the division and you're getting a home playoff game. And it might mean 11-5 or a 12-4 team is coming to see you. So in theory, he's right.
I loved what my man Zeke had to say. I don't love that he's lost his burst, but I love his heart and I love his guts and I love how hard he runs and what he preaches to his team, because you realize I started covering this team when the great Tom Landry was the head coach. What was the number one thing that Tom Landry always preached year after year after playoff year? He used the operative word, you need to streak into the playoffs. He said that's the key to success in the NFL is streaking into the playoffs.
Yep.
You would know this as well as anybody, because you don't want to back in, because when you back in, you have doubt. It creeps into the back of your mind, and inevitably, in your first playoff game, something doesn't quite go right, and you go wrong, okay? So there's something about unity and momentum and that magical quality of takeoff. I can't explain it, but I've been around teams that just took off. They gelled, they clicked, they came together, and they figured out a way that worked for them to win football games. And this team magically has figured out how to win football games, albeit against Cincinnati and San Francisco and Philadelphia, but right on schedule, benefiting from, you can argue, the worst division in the history of this league. They found themselves as everybody else was losing themselves, because the Giants have lost 3 in a row. Washington, with quarterback quandary, has lost 2 in a row. The Eagles hung in for a while, and then it was head-to-head with Dallas, and they were the odd team out. So all of a sudden, I love what he's preaching, Zeke's preaching to his choir in his locker room, that, hey, what's it really matter? We could be 14-2, we could be 7-9, and we're going to have the same feeling, because we get to play, just by rule, we get to play a home playoff game. You don't get a bye, but you get a home playoff game. Well, this team doesn't need a bye. This team needs to play another game and another game. I believe they're going to win at New York. They're 2-point favorites to win at New York. I believe New York is the most favorable matchup within the division for Dallas.
Yes.
So I like their odds. I believe they'll win 30-20, and then you let the chips fall, because you're going to go into the home playoff game, even if it's against Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, you're going to feel good about yourselves, because a lot of good things have been happening. When suddenly you find the magic formula on defense to create turnovers, I don't even know how to teach it, how to coach it. You've seen it happen. It's just contagious.
Yeah, it just comes.
I don't know. I don't know what happens. Bunches. Sometimes you just get lucky bounces, you get lucky breaks. The ball, it's that oblong, weird football, and it bounces your way. Well, it started bouncing their way because they got 10 takeaways in 3 games when they couldn't take it away from a baby in the first whatever game, the first
10-11 game. They could not.
They could not. And they were on a historic pace to give up the most rush yards in the history of this league. And I believe that the coordinator should have been fired somewhere around mid-season. There was a mutiny. Jerry got rid of every free agent that he signed because they were all rebelling against Mike Nolan. And somehow the ones who were left just said, let's just figure this out. And out of nowhere came Randy Gregory. He's really good. He's Pro Bowl caliber.
Yeah.
He's a game-changing, difference-making pass rusher.
Yep.
Well, DeMarcus Lawrence, every other game is that guy also. Right. I don't know what lights his fire, but if his fire is lit, Randy Gregory's is always lit. But he's only had about 5 games of this, and so Jerry's even talking about his conditioning isn't quite up to par yet, up to speed.
Yeah, it's getting there. I mean, but Skip, I think the thing that they do really well with Randy Gregory is that they don't tire him out. They let him. He's a specialist. So let him just specialize. Let him go get the quarterback. You don't want him wanting offensive tackles wearing on him. You don't want people cutting him down on the run game. Just let him come in. Let it get second and long. Let it get third and long so that joker fresh. He might not give you but 25 plays, but those going to be 25 hellacious plays.
All right. Aldon Smith has been a force. He's not the best pass rusher, but he is so big and so strong and so experienced. He can hold that line.
Well, the thing is that what Randy Gregory can do, and it's very unique, and if you look at all the great edge rushers, Skip, they can bend. If you look at Randy Gregory, he can bend. You look at D-Law can bend. If you can do that, you're going to be elite at pass rusher.
Okay. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Donovan Wilson at the back end of my defense, he's a playmaker. He's a hitter.
Stephon Diggs, his brothers, Trayvon.
Okay.
He's a ball hawk. You can get him now. You can get him a couple of double moves, but you better be careful now.
Okay. And again, I come and go on Jalen Smith, but I got to tell you, he plays his tail off.
He plays hard.
He flies around. Sometimes he's flying the wrong place at the wrong time. But he led them in tackles against Philadelphia and was all over the field.
Chris Skip, they tell you sometimes good things happen when you just hustle.
That is correct.
And you know, he was hustling.
Yep.
Jalen Hurts fumbled the football. Guess what? He hustling. He right there, Johnny on the spot. He get it. Big turnover. Because he could, you saw Kelsey almost got it back. Jalen Smith not hustling. They get the ball back. Who knows? They maybe go in and score. It's a one-score game.
On offense, when you have Andy Dalton, he's capable of putting up big numbers. Is he consistently capable? I don't know. But he's done it at such a high level for so long. I trust him in these games. He's been in a lot of big games when he was
You trust him, huh?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
Well, does he not have 3 of the best weapons in the league?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I trust him.
Okay.
And you got Zeke playing as hard as he's played, as fresh as he's played. He says he's healthy as he's been for a couple of years. And Tony Pollard and Dalton Schultz,
I'm trying to figure out
got weapons.
I'm trying to figure out as a running back how you get healthier at the end of the season.
That's what he said.
I think what happened was he got healthier when Tony Pollard started running.
It's possible.
It's amazing when Tony Pollard break off a 40-yarder, Skip, and Tony Pollard break it